All right, welcome back. Another episode, Podcast Perspective, a podcast about life, business, and motivation. Today, I got a very, very, very special guest with me today, man. She's saving lives in the day, changing bodies at night, writing books for the kids, and teaching about the fact that girls can play football too. Today, I got with me Ace in the building.
He pretty much gave an amazing introduction already, but like he said, my name is Ace. I'm a business owner. I'm a mom of two. I'm a firefighter. I'm a children's book author. I was playing professional football for a while. So I wear a lot of hats.
Yeah, when I did my research on you, I seen you and I was just like, I know you got a story. I know you got something to tell, man, and it's just crazy. So let's start with the firefighting. How did you get into that?
Honestly, firefighting is the newest thing that I've been doing.
Okay.
I've always wanted to be a firefighter growing up. I always thought that was the coolest profession, right?
Really? Okay.
But I mean, life happens and it just wasn't my time. It didn't work out for me in that way. But before the pandemic, I kind of got offered the opportunity to come and try to see if I can make it through the whole firefighting school and everything, how that goes. Super hard. A lot of people don't get through just because of how rigorous it is. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it. And then, the pandemic happened. Everything got kind of put on pause. And then the opportunity came back around again. And I felt like, you know what? The second time it came back around, it was meant to be. So went through Firefighter Academy. That was, 5 months. Then we had another 3 months of EMT school. So, yeah, it was difficult. We started with, 18 of us, I believe. We ended up with 11. So, yeah, it was difficult.
So what makes it so hard to become a firefighter, though?
Man, it's just, okay, the physical part, I would say, is where most people just fail out. I mean, it's really hard. You got to be able to pull a 170-pound dummy on your own. You can't do it with any help, too. And if anybody that knows me, I'm 5 feet tall. I'm 120 pounds on a good day. So, I mean, this dummy is heavy, soaking wet, and it has clothes on, everything. You have to be able to drag it to safety. It's just so many different drills that you have to do. And we're doing it in full gear. Our gear is another, 60 pounds already. And, we're on the floor pulling hose, jumping off trucks, rescuing people, search and rescue. It's a lot that goes into it. And a lot of people just can't handle the physical part. And just aside of the physical part, we're taking tests every week, too. It's only a certain amount of tests that you can fail. And once you fail, whatever that number is, according to the department that you're in, you're out, too. So it's a lot mentally and physically, for sure.
But I was hearing, when you're a firefighter, the hours are, nice as a firefighter.
It depends on what your lifestyle is. We work 24-hour shifts. So you work 24 hours, and then you're off 48 hours. So that's how we do it. So some departments may do 12 hours or,
I heard about 3 on and so many off. Something like 12 hours, 12 hours, 12 hours. And
every department is different. It changes. But my department that I work in, I work 24 hours on and then I'm off for 48 hours. But I run a business, so I'm not necessarily off.
So
but
let's talk about that. So how do you manage that? Being able to run your business and then be a firefighter. Because you said you got into the firefighter, a little bit later.
After, right. So basically, I have a health and wellness building. I have a gym in the back, a barbershop, a hair salon in the front. I have a massage therapist in my building. I have a spa in my building. Everything is underneath the same roof. Okay. I have a few trainers there too. So basically, when I'm not there, my trainers are there. My business still runs because everybody has their own business within the entity of underneath the realm of my Ace quarters is what it's called. It's home of Ace Athletics and then a couple of other businesses too. So it pretty much still runs. I have a great support system. My mom is amazing. She goes up there. She cleans when I'm not there. She opens it, closes it. So it works out. It works out.
So how did you get into that? How did you get into that your business and everything?
Yeah. Okay, so with training, growing up, my mom owned a gym. So I call myself like a gym baby. I've been in the gym my whole life, through middle school, high school, everything. My mom was a gym owner. And back then, you didn't see a lot of gym owners. You just saw, the big chain gyms. You saw the Gold's Gym, the LA Fitness, Planet Fitness, or whatever. But you didn't see a lot of personal training studios or, just gyms like that. So not like you see now. Right. So, growing up, my mom owned a gym, and I pretty much learned it from just watching her growing up. And then, I came home from college. I did a whole bunch of other stuff. And then at some point, I was like, you know what? I'm ready to do it. So it's just been ever since then. Yeah.
So let's go there. So owning the gym, getting into that whole game, seeing your mom have a gym.
Right.
What was that transition like for you, saying like, I want a gym and I'm about to start a gym?
Man, you know what? At first, you know how you can kind of like run away from fate. So to speak, it's kind of like I felt like I wanted to do my own thing. I was fighting it for so long because I was like, man, my mom owned the gym. I don't want to do the same thing my mom
Right.
did, even though I know that's what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So I went and did, I went to be a teacher. I don't want to be no teacher. Like, I don't know why I did that. So I graduated from college. I went and taught, and then of course I went and did some higher education stuff at a university. I was an advisor for like 7 years.
Okay.
And then I just realized like this isn't what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not fulfilled. I'm not happy. This isn't what I want. I'm supposed to be changing lives in other ways.
Right.
And then I feel like that's just my calling. To me, it's not a job. It comes so natural, comes so easy to me because it's what I'm supposed to be doing. So I kind of made that transition out of corporate America. I stepped out on faith. I talked to my mom about it. She was a great resource. And we just went and did it. I started with a small space.
Okay.
It was my first space was like 1,500 square feet.
Okay.
And then during the pandemic, I moved to another building. It's like right under 6,000 square feet.
Okay.
So I
Which
kind of
grew.
Deal.
I
did. I did.
Deal.
So I couldn't turn it down. And it ended up being like a major blessing. So yeah.
Okay. So when you got into it, was your mom still in it at the same time?
Yeah. So actually, my mom is about to be 60, and she still trains now.
Wow.
Yeah. So she's still in it. So she's one of the trainers at the gym too.
Okay.
She doesn't like to train too many clients. She has her little small amount of people that she trains in the morning. She doesn't even be train in the evening at all. But yeah, so she's still in it too, and I'm still constantly learning things from her. And she's 60, and she's still, she's amazing.
So how did y'all all get into that whole gym and that working out? Like, where does that come from? Is that like a family thing or?
Not really, to be honest. I mean, I've always been an athlete. My mom is super athletic too. My brothers, they're athletic as well. So I think just coming from an athletic background. But my mom, honestly, she was the first person to she's a trailblazer, and I pretty much followed in her footsteps.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, I love it, man, because I love like the idea of, getting your body right and working out and being healthy, because I feel like that's a big part of like our lives. Like we should have our physical right, our eating right. Like what's your philosophy on all those things? Like
honestly, like with everything that I do, I'm always on the go. Like I said, I work 24-hour shifts. In one shift, I can have a fire, all kind of medical calls, multiple fires. I had like 2 to 3 fires in one shift one time, whether it's a house fire, then a car fire, so many different kind of fires. But you have to take care of yourself physically. Otherwise, you can't do the job. And then right when I work a 24-hour shift, then I go right to the gym and train my clients.
Yeah.
So I'm there, and I don't leave the gym until, 8 o'clock, 7 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
I have 2 kids. My kids are athletes, too. Somebody has practice every day. So I'm going from the gym right off a 24-hour shift right to the gym. And then I'm picking up my kids from practice, taking them to practice. And then I have to go home. That's a whole nother job, being a mom, cooking, making sure that they're good. So by the time I get to sleep sometimes, I'm up almost 48 hours, like going on 40 hours. So if I'm not fueling my body with good nutrients, I take my vitamins every day. I eat clean for the most part, 90% of the time. I'm at least drinking at least a gallon of water minimum a day. So all of that is important for me to sustain the life that I live.
So for the people out there who are working their 9 to 5, or the people out there about to graduate college and they want to start their business, how do you balance? How do you find that time? Because I mean, obviously everybody talk about balance, like, and I don't mean it in a cool way, like I'm just super saying I'm just getting through it. I mean balance of like actually growing my business, but then also keeping my foundation strong and paying my bills. Like, how do you find that balance and all of that?
You know what? I'm still learning that myself.
Yeah.
What I've learned is when you really want something, it's almost like there is no balance. As much as we preach about balance and how you should have balance, honestly, when you in grind mode and you have your eyes on a goal and you're trying to get to a certain place, you're not gonna have balance, and that's just what I've learned. Yeah. So I have a great support system. So that's where my balance comes in, is because my support system is able to come in and pick up where I sometimes lack while I'm trying to chase whatever goal that I have in mind. But when it comes to just that grind, and my advice to anybody, especially like if you're just graduating college, you're young, you don't have a family yet, don't have no kids yet. If you want to focus on, you have a dream, go get it, because it's not going to be balanced. You almost have to be obsessed. You have to be pretty much it's not going to be balanced when you're really trying to get to a certain point. Once you get to that certain point, then you're able to kind of find that balance because you're already there, you know. So
Nah, I 100% agree.
Yeah.
I feel like there really isn't a true balance,
Right.
For really, like, because if you're giving somewhere, you're getting somewhere else. So it's always
Exactly.
like teetering. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, like you said, like if it's something that you want to do,
yeah,
you will do it.
Absolutely.
No excuses. No other way to look at it.
Yeah,
and
sure.
and that kid piece is big too because
yeah,
sometimes I think back and I'm like, man, I wish I would have started before I had my first kid. But it's like, because it's like whenever you have your business and you have work or whatever you're doing, like
Right.
once you add that kid in there, it's like
it's a
like
game
no
changer.
nothing else matters but your kid. No matter what's in front of you, like you
Yeah.
have to choose the kid every time
Right, every
because
time.
they need you. Like
Yep.
they can't do without you.
Yep.
So that's big for people. Like
Yeah, for sure.
if you want to start something, if you want to do something, whatever it is, like that. Having kids is cute, and you know you got this little person, but it's big. It's big.
Yeah, major.
So I want to talk about the book, but before we get there,
Right.
you know, I just want to talk about, you know, just more about the gym. I want to talk about
Okay.
about you getting into it. So you said your mom. Let's go back. So you said your mom had a gym.
Yep.
You were learning from her and the things that she was doing. Like, what was that like? How were you? Not what were you learning, but how were you learning? Was she bringing you and saying, "Hey, this is what I'm doing," or were you just kind of like always there?
It was more observing because, like I said, I fought that. She would be like, "Do you want to train? Do you want this gym? I'm really trying to give you this gym." And I was like, "Nah, I don't want to do this. This is your thing. I'm good. I'm going to college. I went to Savannah State University. I got a degree, undergrad degree in mass communications, radio and television.
You're like, I'm going to do something
Graduated.
totally
Yeah,
different.
I wanted to be a radio personality. That's what I just knew. I was like, I'm gonna be on the radio. That's what I
Yeah.
want to do. That did not work out. Graduated college, ended up getting a master's in education. I was in higher education. I taught pre-K for a few years. I've always been athletic. I've always loved just seeing how the body can change and just seeing what the body could do. Always loved that. But I was just fighting it because my mom did it. I just wanted to do something different, you know? So, but basically, just learning from her was more observation. And then once I kind of got serious about it, then it was more, okay, these are, different things that you can do. More sitting down, me being the student, so to speak. Once I kind of made up my mind that that's what I wanted to do.
Okay. I remember I was talking with Frank. Shout out to Frank. And I was asking him, like, when you got into, like, doing, like, the gym and, like, training people and stuff, I was just like, where did that come from you? Like, was that being athletic and then the things that you learned?
Yeah.
Like, what was that for you? Was it being that you were athletic? You got
Same thing for me, I think. Being an athlete, you know what it takes to change your body. You know what it takes to get better. It's embedded in you. I've been an athlete my whole life. My kids are athletes. Shout out to my kids. My daughter's an All-American pitcher. My son just got back he just finished up the Little League World Series. He batted a 909. If you know about batting averages, that's darn near perfect. So my kids have that same grind. It's in us, So I already knew what it takes to change, to get better. And you just take that and you correlate it to something else. So it ended up just working for me.
Okay. So what sports did you play coming up?
Well, growing up, as a kid, I played everything. I
Okay.
mean, I was a junior Olympian in track. I played basketball in the AAU realm. I played soccer, everything, softball. But in college, I played softball. Of course, you get to college, you got to choose. Softball gave me the most money. That's just what it was.
Okay.
And I didn't have to pay for college, so I went with the whole softball route.
Okay. So speaking of sports, I see you came out with a book. I think you said
Yeah.
it's a series,
Yeah.
and it's called Girls Play Football Too.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big one. So what does that come from? What is that about?
Yeah.
Let's talk about that.
So all my life, of course, I'm a girl. Growing up, you think football's for boys, right? Any sport, from little league to high school, anything, you just see boys. You don't see girls. The girls are the cheerleaders, right?
Right.
My brother was a football player. He was a phenomenal football player. But I always felt like, as I play every sport, but I always felt like football was a sport that I was supposed to play. I felt it. I'm talking about from a little girl. When I was in sixth grade middle school, went to middle school, they had the whole JV, not the JV, whatever it was at that point,
Yeah.
middle school tryouts.
Yeah.
And I had a permission slip. I went and got the permission slip, and I took it to my dad. And I was like, Dad, like, I'm telling you, I'm going to be an amazing football player. I would tell him this, and he would be like, girl, bye. So I took him the permission slip, and he wouldn't sign it. And he was like, I'm not signing you up to play football. Are you crazy? So, so I always just felt like I was supposed to play football. Of course, he wouldn't sign it. I was upset. It was what it was. And then kind of fast forward, there was a league that came out, and it was full pad league, not the lingerie league. So, yeah, not the lingerie league. But it's a full pad football league. I don't want to talk too much about it because, it's in the works right now. But it's going to be just like the NFL as far as how they were going to frame it, 32 teams and everything. And they ended up having a combine and then had had a draft. They had all kind of tryouts and everything. Make a long story short, I sent my footage in because it was during the pandemic, so we couldn't meet. So we had to send all kind of footage in according to like what position you played. Yeah. Pretty much like an online combine type of thing. Okay. So sent that in. There's actually a celebrity in Atlanta. I can go ahead and say this. She owns the Atlanta team. The Atlanta team is Atlanta Amazons. Miss Deb, Waka Flocka's mom? Yeah. Okay, so she owns the Atlanta team. She reached out to me. She saw my footage. She called me, and she was like, I want you on the team. Okay. And that's kind of how that happened. So we're still kind of just waiting to see what's going to happen with that season. The pandemic kind of put it on hold. So that's neither here nor there. But that's really how I got back into football. And I kind of went back to my little girl self, and I was like, you know what?
That middle school you.
Yes, that middle school me. And it's like, you know what? I always knew I was supposed to play football. And now it's like a full circle moment. Yeah, now that I'm able to play football, I got some documents in my email that I had to sign and send back. So it was like a running joke with my dad. I was like, I do not need your signature to play anymore. I can sign my own documents.
I would have came to him with a paper like, I got this league. You think you can sign it?
Right. So that's kind of that full circle moment. So I kind of want, especially, and if you kind of see what's going on right now, flag football is like huge now for the girls. Like there's popping up in the middle schools and the high schools. Okay. Flag football is going to be is coming to the Olympics too.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So it's crazy how it's popping up everywhere. So you see little girls playing football, and so I kind of wanted to represent that with my book. Yeah.
Okay. So I want to go back to the middle school moment when you. For people, because you got people out there who's similar to you, and they love to hear your experiences so they could have they views. Yeah. When you was in middle school, when you went to your pops and you gave him that letter and he turned you down, what was next for you? What was your mind state like? How did that make you feel, and what did you do after?
Yeah, honestly, with rejection, I always feel like it always pushes me to go harder. So I ran track, I played basketball. It just pushed me to do more and do everything else to the best of my ability since I couldn't do what I really wanted to do. So I was like, okay, if I can't play football, I'm going to be the best at whatever it is that I'm doing. So like my grind and my work ethic has always been like on another level anyway. So it's just it just made me go harder in everything else.
Yeah, that's crazy. I was telling you off air, like my wife, she has that same like philosophy you had, like because we used to always have these debates, and I used to be like, men are just naturally stronger than women. It's just natural. Don't do it to me. So that used to be my debate. I used to go hard about that. Look at the average woman and the average man, but this is her point of view on it. Her thing was, it's not a fact of that the man is just naturally stronger. It's just that the woman, every day of her life, is taught that she's less than. So now, as I come up, when I want to play football, I can't, and you can't. So now you're getting your workout in that fashion of being hit and blah, blah, blah. Right. And so now anytime, it could be a whole bunch of girls and a guy wants to play, naturally you just tell yourself, I lost. Y'all got him. And that's her thing. It's like, it's not a fact of man is stronger than woman. It's just a fact of you just taught that this is how a woman's supposed to be, and this is how a man is supposed to be.
Exactly.
Do you feel those similar ways?
Yeah.
And what's your thing on that?
Yeah, I do, and that's why every chance I get, I try to break that barrier. So if you see the things that I do, football, that's something that's predominantly dominated by men. Yeah. I play football. If you see, how many women firefighters have you seen? You don't see them that often. Growing up, I never saw a female firefighter. In my department, there's over 200 firefighters, and it's only 4 women, 4 female. Wow. And that's a lot. That's pretty good.
That's a lot?
Yeah, you don't see a lot of female firefighters. If you just think about it, every time you see people get off the fire truck.
You hardly ever see it.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's something else that I'm doing. So, and that's going to allude to my next book, Girls Fight Fire too. Yeah. It's pretty much everything that I do is like, we can do whatever. You know what I'm saying? Women can do whatever. Girls, women, however you want to look at it. But we can do that too. And that's my whole philosophy. I'm trying to break into anything that's dominated by a man that I have a passion about,
Right.
that I really want to do. I'm gonna show you that it can be done.
Okay. So when did you start that series with Girls Play Football
So
too?
this started. My book has been out for like over a year now.
Pull it
So
out,
this
let
is
us-
this is the first book in the series. Girls Play Football Too.
Okay.
And I love this book. I wanted it to be, so if you see most children's books, they read the book, they throw it to the side. You may reread it a few times.
Yeah, my
but,
kids bring books who read it halfway through.
yeah, throw it to the side,
Yeah.
right. But with mine, I wanted it to be interactive.
Okay.
So I have coloring pages in here. So it's like 4 different pages of coloring pages. And then I have like a word search. I have a glossary because like a lot of girls, it's for girls and boys, but a lot of times they may not know certain football terms. So in my glossary it says like motion right, twins left, snap, receiver, quarterback. Those are just different terms that are used within the book, and it kind of gives you the definition. And then over here, it has like the word search with different words that are used within the book. So I wanted it to be interactive, so it's not just a throwaway. You can read it, you can color in here, you can do your word search, you can look at the glossary, and then you can, of course, enjoy the story. So Girls Play Football Too. And then in the back, it kind of shows you the next book in the series. And that's JM Makes the Team. So that book is already done. It's just kind of,
in the works.
So that'll be out too soon.
Wow. So you fighting fires, changing bodies.
Yeah.
What made you say like I might write this book?
You know what? This is something I've always wanted to do. So this is how I am. If I want to do something, I have the idea. I put the notes in my phone. I put the notes in my phone, in my iPhone. Just go to my notes and I'll just whatever I'm thinking at that point, I'll put it in there.
Okay.
And that's how everything starts. So I did that probably maybe like 3 years ago. I wanted to write a children's book, but I just didn't know. I kind of started and stopped so many times because I just didn't know what I wanted to write about. I didn't have that inspiration.
Yeah.
And then one day I was like, Girls Play Football Too. It just came to me, and I literally wrote the book in 30 minutes because it was just the time for it. And wrote it in 30 minutes. I got with a publishing company, an illustrator. My team is amazing. I have an amazing illustrator and publisher. And it pretty much that's kind of how it came about. Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
it's amazing. When I look at your page and I was just
Yeah.
looking at you and I was checking you out, I was just like, I was just looking at like your facial expressions and just the things you post, what you wrote,
Yeah.
and I really feel like you seem happy.
Yeah.
You seem purposeful. Like
For
you seem
sure.
like you walking in that line that you're supposed to be walking in. Like,
Yeah.
am I right about that? Do you feel that way? Like, is that your?
Yeah. So this part makes me emotional. But when I say anything that I want to do, I'm going to do it. And I don't know. Sometimes I don't know how. I don't know why I want to do some things, like being a firefighter. I became a firefighter when I was 34 years old,
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm 35 now, and that's kind of old in the fire department. A lot of firefighters start when they're, 18. Some start older, but like I was the second oldest in my class. Like I literally was in recruit school with 18, 19-year-olds, youthful, strong. And when I say it's something that it's God, it's stuff that I pray about. It's stuff that I put out in the atmosphere. I put a notes in my phone. I have like 4 other notes in my phone. And I know that whatever I put in my phone, it's going to happen because it's something that I'm sitting on, that I'm praying about.
Yeah.
And it's just about the timing. Everything that I do it with a purpose. And personally, I feel like my purpose and my reason for being here is to change lives. And every aspect of my life. So I feel like with my book, I'm helping little girls realize that they can play football too.
Yeah,
it's a different mentality. As far as being a trainer, I'm giving you self-confidence. I'm helping change your life in that aspect. As far as being a firefighter, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. Most of my calls are medical. So, I mean, whether we CPR, just helping individuals, just meeting them on their worst day, in their worst moment, and making it better somehow. And so I really feel like everything that I do is with that purpose aligned.
Hey, I was gonna ask you, hey, what's your goals? But I feel like you just answered that, man.
Yeah.
So any other closing statements you want to tell to these females out there, to these women out there, to just people out there?
Yeah.
Anything you want to leave the people with?
Honestly, this is something that I always say. I write this on my mirror in my bathroom. It's in the gym. I write this everywhere. Anytime I have just like a blank piece of paper, I write it on the piece of paper. there's no limit to what you can achieve. And a lot of times it's like we put limits on ourselves. It's kind of like, okay, well, I can't do this because I'm in this position, or I'm not able to do this. But when I say, when you make it up in your mind that it's something that you're going to do, you just formulate a plan and you just got to step out on faith. It's so many times that I didn't know how I was going to open a gym. I didn't know how I was going to write a book. I didn't know how I was going to become a firefighter. That's probably hands down the hardest thing I've ever done. I mean, I'm talking about I go and I almost quit like so many times just because of how hard it was and how many other things I had going on in my life. And yeah, so it's just like there's no limit to what you can achieve. Put your mind to it, and you can do it. You can do it.
And there you have it. That was amazing. So there y'all have it. Another amazing episode. Jay came through and
Yep.
she killed it. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, share this with somebody. And we'll see you on the next one.
Yep.
We out.